Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special Ari Shaffir Skeptic Tank podcast. I'm your host, Ari Shaffir, and today, it's got a treat for you. Adrienne Iapalucci has a new album out called Baby Skeletons, which is a name quite as dark as she fucking is on stage. So, here's what we're going to do. Never done this before, but we're going to bring you the album. It's self-released for free in its entirety. It's going to be a short introduction. And what I'm going to try to do here is to make it worth her while to give you guys her album for free. So, I went to the Edinburgh Comedy Fringe Festival, whatever you're going to call it, a few years in a row. And one year, I did the paid Fringe, where you bought 12-pound tickets. And it was good. The shows were fun, for sure. I got a lot out of it. I saw a lot of fun shows. And then the next year, and the one after that too, I did the free Fringe. Pay what you want, they call it. But at the end of the show, you said, hey guys, I know a lot of you guys don't have money. A lot of you guys do. So here's the deal. I just put on a 1-hour show. There's no opener there. You give me what you feel it's worth to you for that hour. Some college kids only have £1. Some fucking rich people had 50. Didn't matter. Everyone chipped in, and they made it so everyone could enjoy the fucking comedy show. And as long as I got enough money to do that, as long as I paid my fucking way, I could keep doing it, allowing poor people to come in and see the show. And rich people too. And the rich people had a better time because the poor people were there. So we're doing the same thing with Adrienne's albums. Baby Skeleton is out right now. So there's a Venmo at the bottom of the page. There's a PayPal at the bottom of the page. Venmo.com/Adrienne, ADRIENNE, dash, just straight across dash, Iapalucci, IAPALUCCI, Iapalucci. Yeah. Or if you want to do PayPal, it's paypal.me/babyskeletons. Guys, here's the deal. She's fucking struggling. She won't tell you this, but she's fucking struggling. So it's the pandemic. She's one of the best comics around. Everyone who saw me on the road this year saw her and was like, who the fuck was that chick? She was fucking hilarious. So if you want to support her, now's your time. I would suggest start off right now before you even listen to this and say, hey, it's worth, even if it's a terrible album, it's worth $1. I'm going to go give her $1 right now. PayPal.com/babyskeletons. Make sure that's right. Or Venmo.com/Adrienne-Iapalucci. It is. You can hit her up on social media. Oh, I should not have done this with my shirt off. Adrienne Iapalucci. 100% of that money is going to go to her. I'm not taking a cut. My cut is in this ad read I'm about to do. Okay? So if you want to support great comics who are fucking struggling financially because of the pandemic, go over there and I can't decide if I want to interrupt here in the middle of it, like halfway through the album and say, hey, come on, give a little, or if I want to all the way through. But right at the bottom of the YouTube page will be the Venmo link and the PayPal link. Right at the bottom of the RSS will also be the Venmo and the PayPal link, but it will probably not be as easy to click. So go and support comedy. You love comedians. You love the fucking dark shit like this. She's getting censored everywhere she goes. So putting her album out herself, honestly, the only way she could do it. And it was time to move on from this material. And it was great. Some of you might have seen these jokes when you saw her open for me. I'm telling you, I had fan after fan go, hey, who was that opening lady? God damn, she was fucking funnier than you, man. And she made me work harder. I'll tell you that. She made me work this entire Jew hour. She made me work harder because her jokes are so fucking strong and just well written. There's not much panache behind it. She's just like, here's the fucking joke. Get ready to go like, Jesus. And she made me work harder. And I'm glad I was able to get her to open for me. And the only way I could do that is because the industry's been failing her. So if you don't want to fail her, go out, see what you can afford. I get it. Times are tough. And if you can only afford $1, then that's okay. Give her $1. $1 is not too much. And if you can afford 5 or 10, or decide after you listen to it, say, that was fucking goddamn fantastic. Give her more. Give her 20, give her 50, give her 100. It's up to you. It's up to you how much you think that one was worth based on your own income. And now, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome Adrienne Iapalucci.
I tried doing something nice the other day. I tried holding a door open for a black man, but he was a gentleman, so he was like, no, you go. And I was like, no, you go. And he was like, no, you go. And finally I had to be like, look, I'm just trying to make up for the Starbucks thing. And he was like, I don't drink coffee. Like, yeah, I think that's why they got kicked out. I'm pretty sure. I don't know what it's like to be a black man in this country, but I do think we focus on a lot of the negative stuff. I don't think we ever focus on the positive things about being a black man. Like, my ex-boyfriend used to be able to fall asleep on the train for hours, and he never got robbed. No one ever tells that story. As a black man, you can fall asleep anywhere and not get robbed. You might get arrested, but you're gonna have all your shit. I think it's possible to say racist things and not actually be racist. Like, anytime somebody cuts me off in a car, I always just scream out whatever race they are. And then I thought about it, I was like, why do you do that? And I was like, oh, it's because I know nothing else about this person and I want to hurt them the quickest way I can. So it's my way of saying, I just got to get to know you better to offend you. Like, you can't just yell out at every car that cuts you off like, hey, I'm glad you got molested as a child. And hope it hits. That's a pretty big gamble. Imagine the guy that's upset and he's like, how'd you know I was molested as a child? Like, I've just been saying that to the last 200 cars that cut me off. I'm just glad you had a shitty childhood. I do think black people and white people eventually we're gonna have to come together. You know, if we have any hopes in overpowering the Puerto Ricans, we're gonna have to work towards a greater good. I don't mean that offensively either. I was Puerto Rican in high school, so. We all were. It was the Bronx. I'm a native New Yorker. I was born and raised in the Bronx, and I still live there. It's like me and one other white family left on my block. Every day I just go up to their house. I'm like, you're not moving, right? I don't want to be here by myself. Most of my friends, when they got money, they left the Bronx. Me and my family, we never had any money, so my mother's like, we're just going to wait for white to come back around. I have this new neighbor, he's Nicaraguan. He was actually like, this is a nice part of the Bronx. And I was like, well, it's not going to stay that way if your friends and family keep moving in. Put a kibosh on that. Most of my neighbors are Hispanic. They're like constantly blasting Spanish music. I wake up to Spanish music. I go to sleep to Spanish music. It's to the point now I don't even dream in English anymore. All my dreams have subtitles, which sucks because I don't wear my glasses to bed. I'm not saying all Hispanics are loud, but a lot of loud people are Hispanic. We have a stalker in my neighborhood. Everyone's freaked out about it except for me, because I was like, I actually wouldn't mind a stalker. I lose a lot of stuff. It would be helpful if I could go outside to some guy sitting in a car and be like, hey, when we were at the ATM machine, did you see what I did with my debit card? Not a lot of cannibals in the Bronx. That's not a Bronx crime. Probably because nobody wants to carry a body up 5 flights of stairs. You figure by the time you find some guy that looks delicious, drag him to the train, transfer 3 times. By the time you get home, you're like, I'm fucking exhausted. I think I'm just gonna get a burrito. If I was a cannibal, I would never like kill some guy and then bring him back to my house. I would just like order a pizza and then kill that guy. Why have takeout when you can have delivery? I know, I think the hardest part about getting away with murder is not being able to brag about it to your friends. Right? You're at a party, your friend's going on about his promotion, and you're like, I'm doing stuff too. I travel a lot doing stand-up. I like to do this thing whenever I get off a plane. I like to make the seatbelt really tight so that when the next person gets on, they just feel really bad about themselves. Like, who was sitting here? I like sitting near the exit row because I always ask if you're willing to handle the responsibility, and I'm like, sure, somebody will step in. Nobody's gonna watch a plane go down and be like, well, you did choose to sit there. Been trying to lose weight. It's hard though because the gym is so boring. I'll be on the treadmill for 5 minutes and just be like, I'd just rather be fat. I have to listen to the most violent rap music to do the treadmill. Just like an hour of Hit 'em Up. If anyone knows how that song starts out, he's like, that's why I fucked your bitch, you fat motherfucker. Like, oh shit, I better get moving. You know you're out of shape when you get winded singing along to a Biggie song. You're like, that dude was 400 pounds. How am I in worse shape than that guy? They say if you want to make it easier to go to the gym, you should leave your sneakers and your clothes by your bed. I don't know how much easier I can make it for myself. I already sleep in sweatpants and a t-shirt. Like, I think if I lived in an actual gym, I still wouldn't go to the gym. The only difference would be I'd have more treadmills to hang my clothes on. My weight's gone up and down my whole life. I had a period where I was super thin, then I got really fat, and I'd run into people I hadn't seen for a while, and I have to explain to them how it happened. But I just found myself explaining it the same way a parent explains how their child went missing. Just like, well, none of us expected this to happen. We're all very upset. But we've saved all of her clothes. And we've kept her room exactly the same. We just hope she's gonna come back. How long do you look for a missing child? I know the right answer is forever, but come on. I feel like you always have to pretend to be looking, otherwise people start judging you. They're like, oh, you're just gonna wash your car like your kid's not missing? Like, I don't know, maybe he's in the trunk. I saw a commercial for a kid that's been missing since 1982. That's a long time. I just want to tell these parents, give up. He's old enough to have his own missing kids. Do you think there's like a 35-year-old guy just walking around Disneyland lost? Trying to find his parents in It's a Small World? No, your kid is dead. Somebody needs to tell them. Stop wasting money on commercials. Go take that trip you always wanted to take but couldn't afford because there were 4 of you. The summer's here, everyone's excited about that, right? Yeah? Except for school shooters. They are just counting down the days, doing their back-to-school shooting shopping. Seeing all their friends in Kmart, being like, you're not gonna need any of that. The Parkland shooting was upsetting because that happened on Ash Wednesday. Yeah, that's upsetting because that means all those kids had targets on their heads. That is not a pro-school shooting joke. I'm just saying we have a problem in this country and the government's not going to do anything about it. That's why if I had kids, I would just take matters into my own hands. I'd be like, when you go to school, you make friends with the most awkward kid in there. The kid sitting in the corner making no eye contact is your best friend. She's like, what if I get made fun of? I'm like, that's how you earn his trust. You want to be the cool kid in school, or you want to make it to graduation? A lot of those shooters, why do they do it? Because women wouldn't date them. It's like, all right, ladies, I've seen some of the guys you fucked. How about you take one for the team? I dated a guy with Asperger's for 2.5 years. Do you think that guy was my first choice? No. But I had a responsibility to my community. Those 2.5 years, not one school shooting in my neighborhood. Am I a hero? Goddamn right I am. There was a story the other day about a teacher that had sex with one of her students, and that happens so often that I think we have to ask men, what are you doing that these women are being swept off their feet by 13-year-olds? Because at some point, I do think it's your fault. We don't want to fuck kids, but you just back us into a corner. How hard is it to text somebody back? It's not that hard. But that's the thing about these kids, when they say they're going to be there after school, they're there. I know you're thinking nobody becomes a teacher because you want to fuck the kids. That's just like a bonus. I think what happens with a lot of these teachers, though, they just get their hearts broken a couple times and they wake up one day and they're like, you know what? Tommy does listen to me. Like, I already know all his friends. I love his parents. I ran into one of my friend's parents I haven't seen since high school. And she was like, you know, Deborah's married now and expecting her second baby. What have you been up to? And I was like, I finished a whole chapstick. Because in my head, anybody can get married and knocked up a couple of times, but you try keeping track of a chapstick for 6 to 9 months. It's pretty challenging. My mom wants me to have a kid. She even said if I can't carry it, she'll be my surrogate. I was like, you won't even let me store my bike at your house. Me and my mom aren't really talking because she got mad at me because I didn't buy her a gift on Mother's Day. And I was like, you're only a mother because of me. I feel like you should have to get me a Mother's Day gift. Just seems unfair I have to get her a gift year after year because she didn't say no. She came over to my house the other day. She was upset that I had a picture of my dad on my refrigerator. She goes, where's my picture? And I said, well, when you die, I will put your picture on the refrigerator. Me and my sister, we do this thing where we call my mother's jewelry for when she dies. And last Christmas, me and my mother weren't speaking. So my sister calls me up 2 days later and she's like, now when mom dies, I'm gonna get this beautiful diamond necklace and you're gonna get nothing. And I was like, that's where you're wrong, because when mom dies, I'm gonna get exactly what I want. And you can't put a price on happiness. My mom's happy. My sister just had a baby, so she's happy with her. Everyone keeps saying how great it is to be an aunt. They're like, you're going to love it. You get to be the cool aunt the kid loves, and then you get to leave. I'm like, you could be the cool mom that leaves. She's like the coolest. I don't think enough mothers leave. As women, if we want equality, that's where we need to start. Just go home, pack a bag, and bounce. My ex-boyfriend wanted to have a kid. I was like, yeah, of course. I'd love to have a kid if I got to be the second emergency contact. If we had kids, though, I'd make sure he'd end up with them because I'd show up to the custody hearing with a crack addiction. Or just be like, Your Honor, I'm doing like a lot of crack. I don't even think I should get these kids every other weekend. I will just sell them for more crack. How long do you think it would take me to kick crack? 2 years? That beats 18 years. All my friends would be like, wow, you look so great. You're so thin. What are you doing? I'd be like, crack. And I'd be like, no, you look happy, though. I'd be like, oh, yeah, I have no kids. I feel like I'd only really want a kid, though, if I knew they were going to be gay or transgendered, because then all you have to do to be a good parent is just not disown them. The bar is so low. You don't even have to get them Christmas gifts. You're just like, I tell people I love you. What if I had a kid and something was wrong with it, you know? Like the other day I was watching a commercial for kids with cleft palates, and I was like, that is a hard face to love. I don't even think I could look at it while I was feeding it. I think I would just drop crumbs over its face like this. And like, I hope something gets in. I'd still love my cleft palate baby. I would get all its school pictures taken. I mean, it's not going to be like my screensaver, but... I feel like you should really only have a kid if you could afford a nanny. That's the best way. Have somebody else raise them. A lot of women don't want to have nannies, though, because they're scared their husbands are going to fuck them. And I'm like, if she's dumb enough to do 2 jobs for the price of one... Who am I to stop Svetlana? I don't want you guys to think I don't like kids. I do. My best friend has 3 of them, and she posted a picture of them on Facebook the other day. She's like, I love my kids. They're my heart. I can't imagine living without them. And I was like, hey, remember in high school when you had that abortion? Just to give a voice to the voiceless. People always get so offended by this joke. Look, we all have skeletons in our closets. Some of them are just baby skeletons. People on Facebook were not happy with me. So I was like, I should probably say something else. So I was like, hey, after reading some of your comments, it is clear to me who's had abortions. My friend was cool about it, though. She's like, I get it, you're a comedian. She's like, but what do I tell my 3 kids, you know, because I tagged them in it? I was like, you know, just sit them down and just be like, aren't you glad you weren't first?
Okay, guys, 30 seconds. That's all I'm breaking in here. And I'm telling you, go hit that Venmo, venmo.com/Adrienne, ADRIENNE dash Iapalucci, IAPALUCCI, or paypal.me/baby skeletons, and go give her what she's worth. Reach out and let her know you want her to do more of these in the future with your dollar. That's how you vote. Voting doesn't matter. This way does. Now back to the album.
I'm one of those people, I don't really know much about politics, you know? Like when people say that the world's going to end now that Trump's president, I'm just like, thank God. That is my 5-year plan. I didn't vote for Trump, but my friends kept threatening me if I did, they were going to stop talking to me. And I was like, that does sound appealing. I'm like, I don't want him to be president, but I also don't want to help you move. Trump wants to send Muslims back to the Middle East. I don't agree with that, but I would be okay with sending back some of the people that are living in New York City back to the Midwest. You shouldn't be allowed to just move to the greatest city in the country. Yeah, you should have to take some aptitude tests. I want to see how fast you can walk. I want to watch you order Chipotle. And then if you get past that, you could live in Staten Island. My friend was like, now you sound like Trump. And I was like, no, I don't. I'm okay with immigrants from other countries coming here. I just don't want immigrants from Ohio here. I would have voted for Trump if he was going to build a wall around New York City and just have Jersey pay for it. I did vote for Hillary. Has nothing to do with her politics. I want to know what it felt like to be black and vote for Obama. I was like, yes, we can. I was like, no, we didn't. My best friend's an illegal immigrant. He's worried he's going to get kicked out. I was like, you probably are. He called me up the other day. He's like, I'm having trouble sleeping. And I was like, I'm sleeping great. I was like, don't worry. Once you get sent back, you're going to have so much time to sleep. You're going to be sleeping to escape the starving. I love this country, but I'm an awful American. I don't recycle. I've claimed bankruptcy. I'm about to do it again. Bankruptcy is like the middle class lottery. The middle class really has nothing else. So you just spend way beyond your means, and then you wake up one day and you're just like, oops. People are like, you're not gonna be able to buy a house for 7 years. I'm like, I'm never gonna be able to buy a house. You claim bankruptcy, 6 months later, they send you more credit cards. Nobody even calls to see if you've learned a lesson. No one calls to see if you've changed as a person, because I haven't. Still doing the same shit, taking my friends out, buying them stuff. They're like, you know you have to pay that back, right? I'm like, if that helps you sleep at night. I remember being in college and taking out student loans, and they're like, if you take these loans out and claim bankruptcy, you cannot include them, which is true, you can't. But you can take out cash advances on your credit cards, pay off your student loans, and then claim bankruptcy. So what I'm here to say is where there's a will, there's a way. That's the thing, America's stuck with me. Let's say I rob everybody in here. I'm gonna go to a much nicer place than my friend's gonna go if he gets deported. So while I'm in prison working on a law degree, enjoying Taco Tuesdays, he's gonna be in a third world country trying to catch packets of rice falling out of the sky. And that's if he does nothing. The problem is I have tenure here. I'm like one of those teachers that just works for the Board of Ed for like 30 years and just keeps showing up drunk to work every day. Well, the administrator's like, what are we gonna do about Adrienne? They're like, nothing, man, we just have to hope she dies. My best friend is worried though. He's like, what happens if I get sent back to Bangladesh? I was like, that's not gonna happen, but let's say it does. As soon as you get there, just join ISIS and come right back. I don't think we're doing enough to fight terrorism. I think instead of fighting these guys, we should just work with them. We should be like, look, you guys love killing people, and here's a list of the people we need killed. Just like murderers and rapists and people who take up 2 spots when they park. Those are the real terrorists I'm fighting on a daily basis. Fuck Muhammad, I'm worried about Frank. They have all these young girls joining ISIS too, which is like the new dating a black guy to piss off your parents. You know, some like 16-year-old girl didn't get a brand new car for her birthday, and she's like, I'll show them. And then she got to Pakistan, and she was like, this looks nothing like the brochure. So many different terrorist groups too, how do you even know which one to join? I guess you just use that to your advantage during the interview. Like, well, I just want to let you know Al-Qaeda's offering me a pretty competitive package. They are giving me dental. Obviously, I don't need a 401k. KKK is a terrorist group. I can't take anyone seriously that refers to the head of their organization as a grand wizard. Because that means at some point, a guy left his house and said to his wife, "I'm off to see the wizard." Sucks right now to be a white guy, because everybody hates you. I think you'll come back around, but right now, it's brutal. Because everyone hates white guys except for when they get one on the phone for customer service. And you're like, thank God. You saved me. Even Indian people are like, that was close. As a white person, though, you can't really talk about race because of white privilege. Everyone just assumes you've led this privileged life. It's like I was born in the Bronx and I still live there. You know? Like, I get black people being upset by white privilege, but imagine how upset I am by it. I actually had a shot. I'm white, but I'm not the right type of white. I'm not like get drunk and drive and kill someone and get away with it white. I'm not like a politician. I'm more like benefit the doubt white. Like you think I'm not gonna steal anything in your CVS, but I'm totally gonna steal shit in your CVS. If they didn't want you to steal, they'd open up more registers. I saw a black man and a white man arguing, and the black guy said to the white guy, "Don't worry, you'll get yours during the revolution." And I kind of wanted to interject and be like, the best time for the revolution would have been during slavery. Just from a makes the most sense point of view. It's when people were most passionate about the cause, and it also happens to be when black people were in their peak physical condition. You're just out in the fields working out for like 14 to 16 hours a day, just building lean muscle and resentment. And that's what you need to fuel a revolution. Resentment. Nobody's waking up on a Saturday now for a revolution. It's not happening. All the black people I know work in offices. You're not starting a revolution with carpal tunnel. We are living in racially charged times, though, I get that. Anytime I hear a cop shoot somebody at this point, I'm just like, please let them be white. Please let them be white. I feel like if there's a smart captain out there, he should just start the morning off and be like, look, whoever shoots a white person today is gonna get a $500 bonus in their check. Now we could just go to Al Sharpton and be like, we cool? Because he is the leader. I get why black people hate cops. White people hate cops too. You know, just because cops are so arrogant. It's like, why do you think you're better than me? You're not a knight. Nobody bequeathed anything onto you. You just took a test I didn't want to take. That's it. I could have been you. Like the other day I was walking home and this cop was like, keep it moving. And I was like, I'm walking. I don't know if he expected me to break out into a skip. I said to him, I was like, this interaction's actually stopping me from keeping it moving. I was trying to get into the right-hand lane the other day, and I thought this cop was gonna let me go, but he wasn't. So he's like, are you serious? And I was like, yeah, I'm pretty serious about getting into the left-hand lane. But what I really wanted to say is, what's your rush? You're already at fucking work. This is the thing, I get black people hating white people because of slavery. That makes sense to me. But just hate the right white people. White men. Because there wasn't one bitch up in that boardroom when that decision went down. We were just as surprised as you. We came home from the market one day and we're like, Benjamin, who the fuck are all these people in the backyard? You gotta let me know if we're gonna have company. I would have never had slaves, just because I don't feel like it's morally correct, and also I'm not like a people person. But I feel like somehow I would have gotten peer pressured into it. Like one of my friends would have got me one for my birthday. I have to pretend to use them every time he came over. I'd just be like, look, Toby, when the Andersons come over tonight, just look busy. There has been some progress. It's just been slow. You know, a couple years ago, Viola Davis won an Emmy, first black woman to win an Emmy. That's pretty cool. She gave a really touching speech where she quoted Harriet Tubman. Just seems like a lot of pressure, though, for other black actors to make it quick before all the good Harriet Tubman quotes are gone. You don't want to be like the 8th black actress to win, and you're like, well, I guess I'll thank God and my family. And I think it was the great Mike Tyson. Who said, don't bite off more than you can chew. I was changing my tire the other day in my car, and this guy was like, I'd help you, but you seem like a real feminist. And I was like, I am not. I was like, I don't even think women should be allowed to drive. I've changed my tire. It's a weird climate right now. Men don't know if they could help women. Women don't know if they could accept help from men. There's been a lot of rapes. Just a buttload of rapes. I do feel like all those rapes kind of put that catcalling video into perspective. Remember when that came out like a year ago? People were outraged. They're like, men are whistling at women. And now a year later, we're like, maybe that's not that bad. I read allegations the way people open a credit card statement. I'm like, I hope this isn't that bad. I hope he just called her sweet tits. Losing all these actors is like watching your pick get drafted to another team. You're like, we can't lose Morgan Freeman. I'm not gonna stop watching Shawshank. He's already in prison in the movie. I'll just pretend he's in there for sexual assault. Morgan Freeman's been my favorite actor since I was a kid. If I found out he assaulted my mother, I'd be like, I'm gonna have to hear both sides first. So I was watching a documentary the other day about Kevin Johnson. I don't know if anyone knows who that is. He used to play for the Suns, and he's the former mayor of Sacramento. And all these women are coming out saying that he sexually assaulted them. And they're coming out like 30 years later where they're just like not as hot. And I believe them, but I feel like you gotta come out at the height of your hotness. I know it sounds fucked up, but let's say I'm sexually assaulted. I'm gonna get back down to goal weight first. Before I come out. I just don't want to give a jury any reasonable doubt. They're like, who else was working in this office? Rape is a touchy subject, I get it. It's literally a touchy subject. I do think as women, though, we have an obligation to, take some responsibility. You know, like if you tell me you've been raped 5 times, I'm gonna be like, maybe it's you. That is an awfully high number. It's the only way to get to your house down a dark alley. Now we have all these radical feminists, they're all like, fuck all men. And you're like, fuck all men, we can't do that. But what they really mean is like, we don't need a man. And I'm like, well, who's gonna take your air conditioner out then? You're gonna take your air conditioner out, Sarah? Then we can't fuck all men. Let's just take it on a case-by-case basis. Like, my mom's a cunt, but I'm not like, fuck all moms. Get it, though. I'm a feminist, but I'm like a lazy feminist. Like I want equal rights, but I'm not going to do anything to get them. I don't even know what all the rights are. I just know I want whatever I'm being denied. I didn't go to the Women's March. I felt enough women went. That was good for me. That's also because I'm lazy. Like, my rally needs to be very convenient. Like, as I'm walking home, a march is coming up my block. And somebody hands me a very light sign. I still think, regardless of everything that's going on socially and politically, it's still great to be a woman in America. If it wasn't, there wouldn't be so many men becoming women. Not like a lot of transgender women in the Middle East. I just feel bad for some poor guy who has to wait for his wife to go to sleep so he could walk around in her burqa. Then just practice not speaking to anybody. I love trannies. I know, you're not really supposed to call them that unless you're not scared to fight them. I think that is the rule. I like calling them transformers. It sounds a lot more fun. I do love transgender women. They're my favorite because I feel like the more men that transition over time will eventually raise the average weight for women. So I'm just out in the streets trying to convert fat guys. I'm like, you already have the breasts. Don't worry, what you lose in salary, you'll gain in sexual assault. They say the men in the Middle East treat their women like property. I don't think that's true, because if they did, they'd actually care about them. Just saying, your property's worth a little bit less without a clitoris. Lucky for them, they don't know where it is. So they're just like ripping off assholes. Like, we got it. My friend asked me, she's like, what do you think they do with all those clitorises? I was like, I don't know. They probably like freeze dry them and sell them as a delicacy in China. Because you could pretty much sell anything in China except for baby Asian girls. Nobody wants them. You can't even give them away with bags of freeze-dried clits. I'm like, I'll take the clits, but I do not want that baby. As a woman, though, if you look throughout history, this is the best time to be alive. Like, I'm glad I wasn't alive back in the day. I also just think I would have set women further back. Like, if I was working in an office in the 60s and someone was like, you know what? These men can't just call us skirts. I think I'd have been like, I don't know, we're wearing skirts. I'd be like, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Personally, I'm just trying to get hit less at home. Being called skirt's the least of my problems. I gotta work on that casserole. People always get offended by that joke, but it's like, you forget, it used to be socially acceptable to hit your wife back in the day. People forget that, but it's like, why do you think there were so many great boxers in the 60s and 70s? They're just getting in all those extra reps. I'm glad I wasn't alive back in the day, though. I know I would have just set women further back. Because I used to have a day job where I'd let my boss sexually harass me just because it made the day go by quicker. Everyone in the office would be like, why are you letting him talk to you like that? And I'm like, well, while he's telling me how nice my rack is, you're doing a PowerPoint presentation. Who's the real feminist? Work smarter, not harder. I used to sit at that job and think about, they said, like, immigrants are taking all of our jobs, and I just feel like, where are they going to take my job? It's like, where is this guy? I did get fired from that job because I got into a fight with one of my coworkers, and I said to my friend, I was like, I think if I had a gun, I would just shoot everyone in here. And my friend was like, even me? And I was like, you know what? I just think I'd be so into it. I don't think I'd be able to stop. It's not bad being a woman, though. They're going to start taking the taxes off tampons. You know, because that's the reason why I don't have a house. Paying that hefty tampon tax. You figure if I take those $3 a year and invest, in about 10 years, I'll be able to buy 2 boxes of tampons. I have a friend that's super excited about it. She's like, if they weren't going to take the taxes off, I was going to stop wearing them. She goes, what were you going to do? I was like, stop being your friend. She thinks it's part of like this male agenda. And I was like, I don't know if it's part of a male agenda. When those products were made, it was the early 1900s. There were not a lot of women in the workforce. I don't think it was like a male agenda. I just think some dude got tired of buying a new couch every 6 months. It's like you can only turn those cushions over so many times before you have to throw the whole couch away. I mean, if you think about it, that's the reason why your grandparents had plastic on their couches. I actually seen 2 female cops working together the other day. Instead of being like, look how progressive we become as a society, I was like, I bet one of their partners cold and sick. Like that morning, the lieutenant was just like, all right, guys, Davis is not coming in today. So we're just going to put Erin and Heather together and hope nothing real happens. I know that's fucked up, but I'm saying it as a woman. If I call 911 up and 2 women show up, I'm just going to be like, I could have just done this myself. This is great. Now all 3 of us are going to get robbed. Look, there are just certain jobs I feel like women shouldn't do. Policeman and fireman. The word man's in the title. We just don't have the same upper body strength, you know? Like if I'm in a burning building and a woman comes in to help me, I'm be like, you know what? I think I'm just going to wait for a dude. I don't need you dropping me. Now 3rd-degree burns and a broken back. And I've done this joke before, and people will always get offended. Like one time this woman was like, we could do it. And I was like, do you think you could lift a 300-pound man? She goes, I'd try. I said, actually, I think that's their motto. Just try. Good luck explaining that. You're like, sorry, ma'am, I was not able to bring your husband out, but I did manage to bring out this lamp. Just want to let you know I did try. I went through a breakup recently. I was with somebody for almost 6 years. That's a long time to waste. I should have gotten a master's degree. But I'm back out there dating now, and I could tell I'm a little bit rusty because I wanted to tell a guy I wasn't into casual sex, but instead I said consensual sex. He was just like, cool. I used to play lacrosse. Breakups are hard, though. I remember in the beginning, I was just crying every day. One day I was driving and crying, and I was like, this is probably the closest thing to knowing what it feels like to being Asian and driving. The whole time, you're just like, I can't see anything. I am endangering all of our lives. Anytime we'd fight, he always told me he was going to kill himself, and I was like, great, now I won't be able to kill myself, or people will think we were in love. Suicide is a white sport. That is what we excel in. We take the gold every time. I like when people kill themselves on their birthdays. It just makes the math easier. And then it's only 1 Facebook post a year instead of 2. Me and my boyfriend used to fight a lot because he would snore really bad. I would just like watch him sleep at night and be like, I wonder if I hit him in the face with this hammer, how much time I would get. So I looked it up, and it's worth it. Anytime we fought, though, I know he wanted to hit me, even though he didn't. Because, like, anytime we got into a fight, he'd just start destroying the whole house. One of our last fights we got into, he ripped a ceiling fan down. I was like, dude, just hit me. It's like, I can wear a long sleeve shirt for a week, but I cannot go a whole summer without a ceiling fan. They say the best revenge against your ex is just leading a happy life. I don't know, I think it's banging a bunch of black dudes. Seems a little more personally satisfying. But you can't even date interracially in New York anymore. There's no fun in it. Nobody's outraged. What's the point of dating a black guy if my family's still gonna talk to me? I'm kidding, they're super racist. They're upset my sister's dating a Mexican guy, and I was like, get to know him. There's so many other things to hate about him. I did start dating this Puerto Rican guy, and he has a kid, big surprise. He's like, Adrienne, I know you just don't like kids. And I was like, that's not true. I used to be a nanny. And he was like, well, you're only doing that because you were getting paid. I was like, wouldn't it be weird if I was doing it and I wasn't getting paid? Like, I just showed up one day and I was like, hey, I'm here for the kids. Send them out. It's on the house. Babysitting kids, though, makes you wonder why anyone would ever want to be a pedophile. Like, that's how fucking annoying they are. Where you're like, the whole time I just picture some guy trying to jerk off some kid, and the kid's like, I want juice. I want to watch TV. And you picture some poor pedophile with his pants down on his ankles walking over the refrigerator like a penguin. And he comes back and he gives him the juice box. He's like, I don't want apple juice, I want grape juice. You're like, you're so fucking annoying. I can't even enjoy this. And this is my shit. I think if they want people to not fuck kids, they should let them watch kids. Because I was like 99.9% sure I never wanted to fuck a kid. And then I watched these kids and I was like, oh, I'm 100% sure I never want to fuck a kid. Like, there's no doubt in my head, like, oh, maybe I just haven't met the right one. Maybe I'm not going to the right playgrounds. You seem upset by most of the show. That's amazing. No, that's great. There's always one person that's not going to enjoy it. The Puerto Rican, I call him the Puerto Rican because that's a lot less racist than his name. He liked to send me dick pics, and a lot of women get upset by unsolicited dick pics. But to me, it never really bothered me because they're just kind of like seeing a picture of somebody's kid, where you're like, I really don't want to see this, but I will. I get it, it's important to you. But to me, it kind of looks like every other one I've ever seen. All right, guys, thank you so much for coming out. I really appreciate it.
All right. That was the album. What'd you guys think? She's fucking hilarious. She's fucking hilarious. And you should see people. The first 2 minutes, people are like, I expect a cutesy girl on stage. And then like 2-3 minutes in, she's like, I'm not that kind of comic. I'm dark as fuck. That's why I call her the Dark Queen. Because she's like, you think I'm dark. She's way more than me. So guys, do you like comedy like that? Is that the kind of shit you're into? Well, if it is, here's how you support it. Here's how you make it happen again. You go out and you fucking slide her some cash. Venmo.com/Adrienne, ADRIENNE dash, the actual symbol dash, Iapalucci, IAPALUCCI. And let's show her, and let's show the whole comedy world. Also, paypal.me/babyskeletons. She had her old PayPal address on there, but it was like her actual email address. And I was like, you should change that. So paypal.com/babyskeletons for all the people over 40. And let's show her. Let's show her that, hey, we want you to do this again. We don't want you to quit comedy because there's no fucking shows for a year plus. We want you to stay in this. We want to reward you by helping you pay your rent and sit there and fucking write new jokes. So what are you going to do? Baby skeletons. You heard it? First of all, for sure tell a friend about it. For sure tell a friend, like, I heard this great one. Spread the word. For sure do that. And then support her. Venmo.com/Adrienne-Iapalucci or PayPal.com/babyskeleton. She's Adrienne Iapalucci on Instagram and Twitter. Tell her how much you loved it. And that's it, you guys. If you like this model, this is the Edinburgh Free Fringe model and the pay what you want model. This is, I don't know. I'm not going to commit to a bunch of money before I know what I'm getting. So you just got it. I told you I'll give it to you, and you be honest. You pay me what you think it's worth based on your income level and how much you liked it. The fucking X meets Y of that. And then I'm like, that's the agreement. So that's what we did. I gave it to you. Now it's up to you. Show Adrienne and show the whole comedy fucking world how much you like the idea of dark fucking comedy, and you don't need it to be on any sort of platform other than right here in your ears. Take a couple bucks, go support it, and more shit like this will happen. Ladies and gentlemen, for Adrienne Iapalucci, I'm Ari Shaffir saying baby skeletons, the Dark Queen rides again. That's it. I'll see you guys next week. Who's on next week? I don't know. It'll be a good one. Maybe with Vecchione. Maybe with Nate Bargatze. They're all coming up. Bye, you guys. Thank you very much. Goodbye.